So, hey folks, the day before Independence Day, massive rainfall all across Delhi, death call, drowned, and I want to tell the Brigadier again, man, wish for good, but falling trees, overflowing drainage, totally waterlogged. This is what a developed third largest economy looks like, folks. Anyway, the biggest news was the bombshell dropped by Chief A.P. Singh after 3 months. That he could be more original. We said 6 for 6. We have kind of got 6 planes there too, and plus some F-16s down on the ground. I've got some really good interviews coming up to show you how ridiculous this sounds, and nobody in the world picked that up. And remember, the only people who really know what happened, besides our Air Force, the Pakistani Air Force, and the people who have eyes in the skies, which is essentially China, which immediately came out and said, no, the Indians lost the war. I saw that on their news on CNA. And the United States, none of them have come out to support us. And F-16, is AP saying real? We tried to do this during Balakot too, that we got them F-16. What nonsense. And what this does, if a chief starts lying, your CDS starts lying, you really have a problem. Do I believe them? You ask me, no, I don't. Am I anti-national? No, I am. I'm patriotic. But here's what's going on, folks. We'll find some, at least get some proof going, man. Without proof, you just get up and say what you want to say. And at the end of your speech, right? Challenges converge for Modi. This is Michael Kugelman. He writes, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi currently faces one of the more difficult periods of his 11 years in power. Modi's most immediate concern is responding to US President Donald Trump's high tariff, which could entail levies as high as 50%, significantly more than on India's top export competitors elsewhere in Asia. This is what's more important. But the Indian leader must also grapple with the aftermath of the May conflict with Pakistan, which has contributed to a major crisis in US-India relations and bolstered Washington ties with Islamabad. Go figure this, right? Furthermore, the April attack in Pahalgam, Indian administered Kashmir, that killed 26 civilians and triggered the conflict with Pakistan, has undercut an important narrative that Modi sought to project, that Kashmir has become more stable and tourist-friendly since New Delhi's revoked its special autonomous status in 2019. What jumlas, right? India-Pakistan fireworks. India's Air Force Chief Marshal A.P. Singh dropped a bombshell while giving a speech in Bengaluru last Saturday. He said that during India's conflict with Pakistan in May, India shot down 5 Pakistani jets and 1 other aircraft, and that it also hit several Pakistani F-16 sitting in airport hangars. He could get real, right? The question is why it would take the Indian military 3 months to make such a major disclosure, and also why did not Rajnath, who was being pillared in the parliament, say anything? And then you get this international experts time with no name. International expert backs IAF chief's remark on downing Pak jets. Not only 5 but more Pakistan aircraft were shot down. Let's keep having a halwa, right? But what IAF realizes the only thing doing well for it, IAF prioritizes induction of long-range missiles after Operation Sindoor success. Well, difficulty all in the air. The real stuff. HAL conducts extensive tests on Dhruv ALH to fix lingering flaws. Still happening, man. It's almost been a year plus, right? Operation Sindoor success to feature an I-Day event, and the Sindoor event is not finished. Is this government real, right? And what is this? And right there, soldier killed as army foils infiltration bid along LOC. Please, guys, all you chaps. A war game changer in Battle of Influence in Asia, written by Adya Mathavan. With unmanned aerial vehicles becoming crucial for precision strikes, India can benefit from filling the space in the Indo-Pacific drone market. Right. What's the name? This is daydream. We don't have the capacity, we don't have the bandwidth, we don't have the intellect capability. That's what it is, folks. 3 cheers. Watch what's coming.
The claim that the chief has made, it doesn't stand to scrutiny at all. There are far too many gaps, and there are far too many things, and it all appears that this is a last-minute instruction given to the chief by somebody, that you please include this in your talk that you are giving there. All I'm saying is that where is the evidence? You should identify and tell the people of India and the world that, okay, 5 fighter planes, what are their types? Were they J-10s? Were they JF-17s? Were they F-16s? This is something you would know. What I am worried about is that the command, the entire Air Force looks up to the chief. He's the man. and he must retain the respect of the command. Because if that respect is lost, these are the things that lead to command breakdown. Indiscipline in the command, that is my worry, that when a chief says something, any chief, and the people inside the service, they know what is the truth. So that leads to losing respect for the chief.
So, folks, while Pakistan's running away with the mutton biryani, our chief is being forced to make all kinds of statements that can't be proven, we have Hindustan Times to thank for putting us together. Dogs and democracy. First line, headline. Can you imagine? This is the headline. Remove stray dogs from Delhi NCR street, says Supreme Court. That's the headline. And on this side, you have high drama as opposition march to ECI block. And that really was the real item news that day, right? Well, things are not good economically, right? Microfinance portfolio shrinks further in Q1 amid cautious lending. Banks tighten scrutiny on overseas investments amid falling net FDI. So all the lies being told by Sitaraman and the government, and Amitabh Kant especially. This is where it is. India now second largest host of international schools as parents seek to further future-proof kids' future. Yes, we want Gurukuls, right? Everybody wants English-speaking schools. RBI likely spent 6 billion offshore in 2 weeks to boost the rupee. Oh, Vishwaguru, fantastic. But Pakistan playing the game. Pakistan piggybacks on Trump's quad visit to seek Islamabad stopover. What happens, folks? It's possibility. Pakistan back in US calculus after years of isolation, thanks to Sindhu, right? And this is what happens. Pakistan hails 19% tariff under US trade deal. Maybe India should move its factories to Pakistan. Who knows, man? Trump's deal to develop Pakistan's massive oil reserves more strategic than realistic. This is what we are saying. It's just too funny. We just don't have the oil, right? For Pakistan and US, it is back to doing business. TSA Raghavan. And what he says is important. Given Pakistan's geographical location and the geopolitical moment, an uptick in Washington's ties with Islamabad was inevitable. We were caught sleeping. Doval was caught sleeping. Jaishankar was caught sleeping. Decoding the threat in Munir's desperate talk, Shekhar Gupta. Shekhar Gupta is delusional. India must be alive to not just the possibility, but also the likelihood that he will be at its throat again. He will be, okay? But you don't need to disparage him, Shekhar. Munir threatens to target RIL's Jamnagar refinery. Have you guys ever wondered why it's not being targeted? It's a ripe target. My observation, both Adani and Ambani Mudra are paying off Pakistan big time. Big time. US-Pak ties may impact stability in Afghanistan. Maybe not. Who cares? But look at this. US move on BLA linked to its mining interest in Balochistan. All eyes on China's reaction. Pakistan action in USC against BLA. Pakistan may have convinced US that controlling BLA is essential for harnessing critical minerals in the area. But what about us? Because this BLA was a pet child of movies have been made of that, of Doval. Nuclear threat is Pak's stock in trade, says Center. No, it's not stock in trade. And who's this idiot who's saying it? Randhir Jaiswal. No first use has never been part. There is on their side first use if it's an existential threat, and water is one of them. Blocking Karachi ports is one of them, right? 2 soldiers killed as op continues. Whoa, Modi, where is our another Sindhu, right? India brought Pakistan to its knees within hours, PM. What a laugh. You got soldiers still getting killed. Yeah, where are these ex-army chaps now, right? Operation Sindhu's success points to homegrown power, says Rajnath. Yeah. Absolutely. But what about this? Delay hit Scorpion retrofit to boost stealth endurance. So retrofit, we can't do. Right? Fresh encounter begins in J&K's Kishtwara Kulgam. Gunfight enters 10th day. Where is Operation Sindhu? India has the most dynamic economy. Some people are not liking it, says Rajnath. Yeah, absolutely true, Mr. Rajnath. Does he even understand what the economy is, right? Somewhere I think the IAS, IFS and the ND must have extensive courses on global economic, understanding global economy and geostrategic. I think they don't have either. Operation Sindoor was akin to playing a game of chess, says General Upendra Dwivedi. Wow. And what does this former Pentagon official say? Munir is Osama in suit, former Pentagon man on his nuclear threat. Trump used to horse trading, India paying price for his Nobel fixation. Well, go ahead and give him the Nobel Prize, folks. Well, that's it for me right now. Watch the videos coming up.
Hello. Welcome to STH English. You should be forgiven for thinking that this is some sort of a comic relief arranged by India on rather lazy Saturday for the consumption of people hungry for entertainment. But really, this is not comic relief. This is supposedly serious business. Here is the Indian Army Chief, AP Singh. Weeks and months after the war is over, after the world has, through satellite images, certified who won the war, whose aircraft were shot, who got a bloody nose, after 33 times the US President's assertion that he had to negotiate a ceasefire because this was spiraling into a nuclear war, and after dozens of articles that have appeared in international media across the world have confirmed that Pakistan came out to be the winner, has held a press conference with some old images trying to prove that actually they had shot down at least 5 of Pakistani aircraft and had done remarkable damage, including AWACS and Pakistan's air defense system.
I figure everything we're doing within the country and what's being reported is for domestic audience, because it's not for the rest of the world. With the rest of the world now, nobody really is believing what's happening. And this is interesting. As EM to meet Lavrov, Wang Yi visit next week, Jaishankar to visit Russia next week, India, China to resume direct flights and signs of closer ties. But at the same time, look at what the United States is doing to China. Nvidia, AMD to pay 15% of China chip sale revenue to US. What Washington-Beijing deal means for New Delhi, what he says is, Trump's doing damage control after launching a trade war. He will push for the India deal to be more like the UK one, more one-sided. Lesson for New Delhi is to negotiate from strength, not desperation. But unfortunately, desperation it is. And what does Gokhale write? He's another lackey of China. First tango in 5 years, India and Chinese interests diverge in South Asia and the Indo-Pacific. But globally, in the face of Trumpian disorder, India's strategic, economic and technological interests lie in working with China. I'm not sure how. Even he lacks basic economic sense. Where are we going to cover up for the service exports to the United States? Where are we going to cover up for the merchandise trade surplus? Where are we going to come up with the flows from Wall Street, from China, technology from China? He's got to be kidding. Ask him. He's got to be kidding. Hello, Mr. Trump. Hello, says Seema Sirohi. China's Yanjing Tibet rail line all set to chug along, and India keeps getting cornered. In an unusual move, US to take cut-off AI chips sold to China, like I said. The 50% challenge, says Abhik Barua. He says, should India give up its purchase of Russian oil? If it had bought no oil, its import bill would have been higher by only 3 billion. So what was it? It was all about Ambani. And maybe the money is paying off, right? Play the forward defense, says Pranab Dal Samta. He says, India must work for quick outcomes on one area of convergence with the US. He says, given that Trump's 1.0 had invested his political capital on MQ-9B, India ought to move quickly if it needs more. Absolutely. And what is Swaminathan Iyer writes? Go on, give the dawn a bone. What kind of bone are you going to give, right? Rakesh Sood. India-US ties up close and personal, national interests and patient negotiations have to guide bilateral relation treaties. Absolutely. But what are our interests? We can't figure that out. Hello, Mr. Trump. Hello. He says, it didn't have to come to this. India-US relations are in desperate need of Operation Salvage and restorative touch. Donald Trump's insults and excessive tariffs on India's totaling 50% are threatening to bury the relationship, a fate neither side wants. You can say that this is too shall pass and India will ride it out, but decisions made now when tempers are high and visions is clouded can affect the relationship for years to come. The famed relationship between Trump and Narendra Modi is already a casualty of the crisis. There never was a relationship between the two. Two narcissists, never. See what's coming.
टेरर साइट्स को गिराया, हमला किया, आपने पाकिस्तान का कोई मिलिट्री नुकसान नहीं किया है. आप फिर जाके पाकिस्तान से आधे घंटे बाद बोल रहे हैं कि
चलो
बस डीएस्केलेशन करो.
जबकि आपके जहाज गिर चुके हैं.
आपके जहाज आपके एयर स्पेस में गिरे हैं और सिद्धार्थ, दूसरी चीज़ समझने वाली है, लोग भूल जाते हैं एक स्टैटिक एयरबेस हिट करना और एक मूविंग मिलिट्री टारगेट हिट करने में बहुत फ़र्क है। मूविंग मिलिट्री टारगेट आपके एयर स्पेस में, आपके इलाके में पाकिस्तान गिरा रहा है, उसके आधे घंटे बाद जाके आप बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं साहब खत्म कीजिए, बात खत्म हो गई। ये किस तरह की रणनीति है? एयर चीफ का एक एयर चीफ का काम है। मुझे लगता है कि भारतीय वायुसेना के ऊपर काफ़ी दबाव है और उनकी इमेज के ऊपर, उनकी क्षमता के ऊपर कई सवाल उठे हैं। और वायुसेना अध्यक्ष AP सिंह ने ही 4-5-6 महीने पहले कहा कि हमारे पास हथियारों की कमी है, हमारे पास हवाई जहाज़ों की कमी है, इस पर काफ़ी कंट्रोवर्सी भी हुई और शायद उसकी वजह से इनके ऊपर और ज़्यादा दबाव है। जो परफॉर्मेंस पहली रात की है उसके बारे में सवाल उठे हैं, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जगह पर सवाल उठे हैं।
Restrictions which were put on us.
हम पाकिस्तान की तरह ना मिलिट्री डिक्टेटरशिप है, ना अथॉरिटेरियन रजीम है। हमें एयर चीफ के इस बयान को एग्जामिन करना चाहिए और क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन करना चाहिए। उसको हमें ऐसे ही फेस वैल्यू पर नहीं ले लेना चाहिए और कहना चाहिए कि साहब एयर चीफ ने बोल दिया तो बात सही है। कोई भी इस तरह का रैकेज, कोई भी इस तरह का सैल्वेज, कोई भी मलबा, उसकी कोई तस्वीर नहीं आई है जो कि हमको दिखाए कि पाकिस्तान के 5 या 6 हवाई जहाज गिरे हैं। उनके मलबे की तस्वीरें होंगी, कोई और रिपोर्टिंग होती तो थोड़ा सा।
Get the impression you believe not only have the police mishandled the case, they've acted prejudicially, unfairly, and wrongly. Would I be right in putting it like that?
Yes.
All three: prejudicially, unfairly, and wrongly.
Yes, surely, because the sisters can't be accused of such an accusation that they will never think about it. Christians, we are also being targeted in certain areas which are very sensitive and perhaps even dear to us. For example, we are the ones who are running many of our education institutions and very well. I don't think there is absolutely a single complaint in any of our schools of being conversion as such. There is always the accusation against the Christians that, first of all, that every attempt of doing good is being misunderstood as being utilized for conversion as such. The fact that the 18 states have brought about...
It's not a big secret that ultimately at the end of the day, every decision is that of the Prime Minister. And therefore, these are decisions which I'm pretty sure he would have taken. And from whatever we hear, you and I, in the corridors of, or what they call Lutyens, Delhi, the final word is always that of the Prime Minister, never of any minister. So the question of any minister saying, no, Prime Minister, you're wrong, doesn't arise in this government. It's always, yes, Prime Minister.
So Modi is to blame for mishandling Trump?
Yes, I think that's why I say it's a clash of egos. Giving Trump the credit on Operation Sindoor is a small price to pay. You know, it's not as big as agreeing to a military alliance.
And it may also be the truth.
It may also be the truth. I think it is.
So therefore, we really did mishandle that issue, didn't we?
Absolutely.
So in a nutshell, Modi is to blame for mishandling Trump and Trump's ego.
Yes, that's what I've said. I think good sense should have prevailed here in Delhi. So, okay, this gentleman is seeking something. Now, let me give it to him because it doesn't really cost me much in making a gesture to the world's most important country and most powerful power. And I think we have now, kind of pushed ourselves into a corner where the President of the United States is bad-mouthing us, which has never happened before.
So, as you can see from the interview of Karan Thapar, one with how the Christian community is being targeted in India, that's not going to go down well with the United States or with Europe, in fact, or Canada. The only way out for us now is to rejig our defense and become part of the supply chain of European Union and Canada, which are like amping up the defense expenditure. So our democratic credentials have to start doing the talking, right? And as far as the United States is concerned, I think we are now beginning to, the more we look at it, it looks like that we are hunching down for the punches. India, our ties with US have weathered many transitions. Then you have India, US ties weathered several challenges, will move forward. Well, what you're going to move forward with, who knows? Atlas shrugs and winks. This is Pratanpal Chaudhary. He says trade with Trump is about his local political interests and little about strategic ties. In fact, he doesn't know strategic ties. Modi not interested in another bruising battle with farmers, and Trump, who wants to hold on to the loyalty of his farmers, are now in a standoff, especially since they've lost Canada. Then Donald and don'ts of tariff, which is Pranab Dal. Sometimes there is a Trump deal within the trade deal, which is making things tricky. Negotiators are headed back to the table to pick up the threads again to rejig and, if needed, recast the entire frame. I think so. Problem for India is its own complicated high tariff structure, unlike generally low tariff economies like the European Union and Japan. Tariffs as a tool to extort and slight India's sovereignty. That's absolutely true, right? India should stand up against American bullying. While the US is undoubtedly a significant partner for India, New Delhi should send a clear message that it cannot be taken for granted. It's trying to send a message, but I think we're going to get hammered back. Trade tango awaits one last twirl. Seema Sarohi. Credit where credit is due. Indian trade negotiators have preserved and survived in a tough environment of tariff threats from Donald Trump and rapid-fire letters spitting out of White House, but not anymore. India is a bright spot, says center amid Trump tirade. I doubt it very much. And what does Indrani Bagchi write? Let's not go on a rebound. She says India-US ties may be under strain, but turning to China or Russia is unwise. Absolutely. It's not going to allow another exporting power to grow. Instead, India should look west. This is exports to China. It'll never happen. I've told you so. Many zero-sum voices are already saying let's befriend China and Russia again. Even MEA has been flirting with the idea of reviving the Russia-India-China trilateral. Won't happen. But what we need is more mind space for India and American imagination. He says India needs to ensure that it captures intellectual space in the American imagination and is understood on its own terms. Unfortunately, narrative matters, and unfortunately what's happened, we got these right-wing loonies even in the United States trying to make India out of the United States, and that's not going down well. And therein lies the paradox. Just as India's importance is rising, its visibility in American intellectual and philanthropic circuits remains limited. The scratches on our minds can be healed, but not with silence. They require vision, voice, and a story compelling enough to inspire the next generation of global leaders. A Schwarzman-style fellowship in India would not just be corrective, it would be a declaration that India is no longer content to be studied at a distance. It wants to be known on its own terms. But hey, we're too weak at this point of time, folks, especially because we've convoluted our democracy and have tried to move this towards the Hindu Rashtra. 3 cheers, folks.
It's very clear the American economy is slowing. And the R word, recession, is back on people's lips. So that could be just around the corner. But the important point you make is, in fact, most of the tariffs haven't been in effect. So when you don't impose a terrible policy, you shouldn't be so surprised when that terrible policy that you didn't impose doesn't actually hurt the economy too much.
So essentially put ourselves in one basket and trying to play this double game between China and Russia, it really has hurt us because we really didn't play our game with the European Union or Canada. But the US, the way Trump is going about things is obviously alienating all his allies, especially Canada. And you got to take a lesson from Canada and Carney, the way you're hitting back, and you got to get back in there. And the US economy, as you just saw, it's now talking about the R word, right? And inflation is still there. And like I said, US economy shrank in Q1 worse than estimates. If you remember what happened, guys, that he fired the labor statistics person because she kept the news and readjustment of the other two just knocked the bottom of the labor market, right? Trump tariff, 17% effective rate, 15 billion monthly customs revenue. But the point that you need to make is that 50 billion is coming from all the citizens of the United States paying for this. I mean, very rare. I mean, there are some of these duties being forced onto companies supplying, but more or less it's being borne by the United States. Days of building China factories, hiring worker Indians are over. Trump repeats old plan, more tariffs, less income tax. Then you have, but internally also there's a lot of strife there, right? Right-wing strife. Trump calls Mamadani as communist lunatic, and you have the Indian right wing also jumping into this gentleman, Muslim gentleman, son of an Indian, who has won the who's won the primaries, Democratic primaries for mayor of New York. And as you see, this kind of hatred is in India, is also happening in the United States. 2 Minnesota Democrats shot in targeted attack. Marines sent to LA ahead of Trump's protest. Package deal in Donald, and basically he's trying to turn himself into a dictator. Pakistan has entered Donald Trump's mind and occupied some headspace by doing what it does best: please, pamper, and satisfy all needs of moment, be it delivering terrorists or minerals, like it or not. Pakistan is in the room, if not at the table, even as Trump and Modi will bump into each other. Right? Trump, like I said, it's on there, right? Trump tantrums complicate India's strategic challenge. The neighborhood game may not be conclusively settled. Bangladesh is a work in progress, but the writing on the wall is pretty clear. And then you have this, right? India's presence amid a broken template of geopolitics by T.S. Trimurti. To get its economic and technological trajectory right, India needs to get its geopolitical politics right. Facing an erosion of trust with the US and a US-China deal, India needs to clinch a India-US trade deal soon to prevent a further deterioration of relations and to persuade Mr. Trump to travel to India for the Quad. After Mr. Trump's outburst, it's a moot point whether India will revive the RIC. No more can India just put out our head down, mind its economic business, and expect to grow. That template is now broken, and this probably, folks, is the truth. Hallelujah and 3 cheers.
तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
This I have.
चेहरे बदलते गए और कुछ नहीं बदला।